Hey, welcome back to the AllMonster Monster Truck Podcast. And along with me here is Robby, who is one of the original founders and masterminds of AllMonster. And I don't care if he doesn't like when I say that. In today's show, we're doing a little bit of catch up here because Robby's busy with the dad life and lots of other things. And I've been a little busy with wrapping up the monster truck season for the summer, some other work obligations, a vacation, yada yada, but we're getting back to it now, and we're reflecting on a fun and busy summer that we had, going to shows all over the place, all over the Midwest. We were both busy doing lots of fun things. Robby, how the hell are you, and what would you say about your summer overall?
Hey, there's monster trucks involved. I'm a happy guy. It's been an interesting summer, very busy. You know, of course, when it comes to podcasts and things like that, we're not aiming to be number one on iTunes or Spotify or anything like that. We're here for the quality and here for the good folks. So if we're too busy or too sick or too whatever one week, then, you know, you'll get consistent episodes. But at the end of the day, it's about quality for us and giving you guys a good place to listen to some stuff. We've gotten some great feedback from some people that I really respect within the industry. And hey, speaking of that, I'll just start with my most recent trip. Past weekend ago or so, depending on when this episode comes out, I was at the Patrick Enterprises open house, and hey, that was a lot of fun. But we'll get to that and a bunch of other stuff, including we're going to be running down all the lineups for Monster Jam's upcoming 2026 first quarter. But first, you have a few things to catch people up on as well, man.
Yeah, so I wrapped up my summer Monster Truck Throwdown season at the Kewadin Casino Resort over there up in St. Ignace, Michigan. It is up in the UP, and I consider the UP to be stolen Wisconsin, and to me that's Wisconsin. I don't care what anybody has to say, but we were there in St. Ignace pretty much right at the start of the Mackinac Bridge there that you would cross to go over into mainland Michigan. So we had a really fun show. The staff at the resort treated us very, very well and helped us out a ton. So shout out to them, and if you're ever up in the UP, and I guess if you've never been up to the UP, you need to check it out. It's such a gorgeous area. So many great things to see and do, and it's just a fun vacation spot, especially now this time of year with all the fun colors. But the weekend after that, the Monster Truck Throwdown season wrapped up in Slinger, and if you've never been to Slinger, you're not familiar with it. It's a very steep, banked oval track. I believe they call it the fastest quarter mile in the world or something like that. I don't remember the exact slogan, but they do a fun figure eight track there for the monsters, and that looked like a great show. I wasn't able to go because I was on vacation that weekend, but Monster Truck Throwdown season, all in all, very fun, and I can't wait to get back to it in 2026, and I have a feeling that it's going to be bigger and better than what it has been in quite a while, so I'm excited for that.
Always like seeing things grow, always like seeing things expand, and happen to the good folks in the industry there too. So hey, figure eight racing is a great way to end off any season, in my humble opinion, especially when it comes to monster trucks. But we're going to be taking a look at a few things for the 2026 first quarter upcoming. But I wanted to touch on the Patrick Enterprises open house on my end. Of course, I am grateful and I don't know, blessed is probably an overused term nowadays, but I do feel very blessed to be able to go and check out a standard bearer in the industry shop anytime. If you've not been to the Patrick Enterprises open house, you should go. If you're a monster truck fan, it is just a tremendous experience. In some regards, kind of a palate cleanser and a reminder of who and what the industry should be about, in my humble opinion. A little bit of reminder came in the form of me pulling in immediately and being greeted by Gene Patterson. I mean, Colt Cobra. Colt Cobra was out there parking cars and just helping out. The Patricks had a pretty quick turnaround from about Tuesday or Wednesday to Friday, from coming back from their last show in New Zealand to doing the open house. So they had a lot of help from family, friends, fans within the industry, and it turned out great. Great weather, great vibes, great atmosphere. Too Tall with Dirt Crew was out there. That was fun. And again, just being able to talk to some of these folks that the industry was built on the backs of their hard work. And there are some folks that kind of forget that. It's not that you need to be reminded every day, but it's important to respect the past while also respecting the future. And the people that strike that balance are kind of my favorite people currently to discuss, talk about, interact with in the industry. So, hey, getting to see a conversation between Gary Porter, Dan Patrick, and Gene Patterson is pretty sweet, man. If you know those names, if you know, you know. And it was great, really enjoyable. They're getting geared up to build 3 more chassis and a few more surprises, and it's going to be really neat. Got to stay tuned. And they also put out probably my favorite shirt that they've put out in a long time. Just a little bit of free promotion, if you will. Go check out the merchandise store on the Samson website. And the new Patrick Enterprises website is now available. So, not an ad, but just something that if you're a Monster Truck fan, you should go check out again. Loved it. Great time. Really appreciate all the support out there and seeing people excited about monster trucks no matter where and what they are.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And then on that topic, too, everybody, do not forget to check out the Haymaker, Frostbite, Send It Motorsports, Patrick Enterprises, and Samson Monster Truck pages as well. Don't forget to follow those. A couple of them have YouTube channels as well. And while we're on that, too, AllMonster's open for business. So if you are a team or even another type of business and you could use some help with social media or anything like that, just send us a message on Instagram at AllMonster, and you're going to find us and let's talk. Robby would love to be able to help you guys out. He's far smarter at any of that than what I am, but also don't forget
I don't know about all that.
Well, maybe in some ways. Yeah. Don't forget to also subscribe to us on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify, and you can listen to us on the go at home watching us on YouTube. I know Robby likes to put up some video and photos and everything to accompany the audio here, so check us everywhere that you're able to. That'd be great. But, Robby, what do you want to get into first here?
Well, I'm going to drop a little link and an image to you, and the fine folks at home in their cars or wherever you are listening to this podcast can follow along. We're going to run down the entire Monster Jam 2026 first quarter lineups and tour lineups, if you will. Have a little discussion, have a little fun, maybe just a couple predictions on who we think is going to take down each tour, and then you guys can laugh at us for being so dumb and so wrong about this after a little while. So thought this might be a fun little exercise, and this is something that we can look back on in a few months and see how right or wrong we were, man. So if you're ready, we're going to start off at the top here with Stadium Championship Series East.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And while we're at it here, too, we're going to go ahead and Robby and I will give our overall event champion predictions for each tour, but we want to hear what you guys think also. Who do you think is going to be the champion on each tour? Let us know in the comments below right here on YouTube. You could also comment on Spotify and let us know, and we'd love to interact with you that way. So, yeah, Stadium Championship Series East. This one looks like a pretty fun lineup. So we got Adam Anderson and Gravedigger. Jamie Sullivan's coming to stadiums full-time here in Sparkle Smash. Tristan England is your current reigning champion, returning in JCB Digatron. Cynthia Gauthier in Lucas Stabilizer, Colt Stevens and Thunderoris. Camden Murphy in TBD. What could that be?
My favorite new truck, dude. TBD is going to be the best. All right.
We got Kevin Crocker in Megalodon, Joe Foley in El Toro Loco, Jim Kohler in Avenger, Chris Kohler in Mayhem, and Matt Pagliarulo in Jester, and Mike Pagliarulo in Excalibur. So one of the more notable things here, other than Jamie Sullivan being in the mix on this stadium lineup, is there's only one peg bottom truck. So no Nick on this one, just Matt and Mike.
That would be 2 peg bottom trucks, but math aside, yes, we have one of the 2 truck teams that they have. See about the other 2 soon in the future. Definitely an interesting kind of thing when we usually see and have kind of become accustomed to drivers coming from arenas to stadiums. And it's not that the arenas are the minor leagues, it's that can kind of own your skills and make you ready for a stadium. Not unlike Jamie Sullivan moving up from the arenas to the stadium. Even the language we use there, moving up, right? Well, sometimes with a guy like Armando Castro, we'll get to later, he's actually moving down, if you will, from arena or stadiums to arenas. I don't know exactly what's going to happen there with the other 2 PAGs. We'll have to see what news comes out there. I would be very surprised if they were not running another tour, another place somewhere, somehow. You'll have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, for now, hey, Mike Pags, big season last year. Patrick Enterprises, by the way. But really, he turned his sophomore/third year, I would say, behind the wheel into a real coming out party as far as his abilities in freestyle. He won several freestyles, spectacular moments. I always joke around on our Instagram about the Mikey Pags fan club, and it's serious, though. I mean, the guy can drive, he's fun, and he's representing a name that I really feel is an exact fit for him. No guts, no glory. Get out there and hammer it. And some people love that. I'm definitely among those people. Be aggressive and carry on that name with some respect. I love seeing it. So, but if I had to sit here and go through this lineup, I would say the ones that really jump out at me is, of course, Tristan. I think personally that Tristan has a real good shot at repeating here. There are a few things switched around in this lineup compared to last year. That's a good thing. I think the wild card is going to be Adam Anderson, believe it or not. Folks have been saying here and there, okay, well, is Adam having a good year? That sort of thing last year. Well, he definitely has been aggressive since I would say about the World Finals. He went out there with the legend name and showed him that he's still got that aggression when it's there, when he's ready to go. He was obviously ready in Salt Lake, and then followed that up with a little adjustment to the geometry of his new chassis in Australia on an aggressive move. I sent a message out there on Instagram, just kind of sharing the story or the quick video of him making that jump, and he DM'd me right away, said, hey, I had to teach him how to cowboy up. I think he's a little fired up. I would not be surprised to see him be that aggressive this year. Again, he had it in spots like Minneapolis last year. There's aggression, and then there's also aggression with safety too. Not reckless disregard, but I'd like to see an aggressive season from Adam. If that happens again, he turns into, let's say, 2019 or so, Adam Anderson, then he's going to give Tristan a run all the way to the championship. I would love to see that. Don't know if it's going to happen. And the other one that jumps out at me is Joe Foley. Joe Foley in freestyle, tremendous. I don't know that he is necessarily ever going to say that he's a wonderful racer. He always bags on his own abilities behind the wheel in racing. I think that it's more so a product of the chassis that he's in. He has driven other chassis now, but nothing like that sweet V Cradle. And with the El Toro Loco name, I see him getting some better scores, frankly.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, you talk about Adam Anderson in the year he had last year. I know it definitely started a little bit rough. He had that new CRD chassis. He's got the narrow axle housings. Totally different setup from what he was used to previously. And I think he had some reliability issues there in the beginning and throughout a little bit more of the season. So excited to see what we're going to get out of Adam here this upcoming first quarter. And I'm excited to see Jamie behind the wheel, too, in a stadium. I think she has shown a lot of potential in these stadium settings. So I'm curious to see how she's going to do on a full stadium tour and see where she's going to, I guess, end up in the points chase there at the end of the season. But I have to agree, I got to go with Tristan here on this one. He's technically the most consistent driver, I think, that we normally see in a stadium lineup such as this. I mean, even in arenas, too. He's so good at these two-wheel moves. He's just a smooth and consistent racer. It's very rare that he gets off of his own beat. So I got to go Tristan on this one. So I guess all in all, that is what we're looking at for Stadium Championship Series East. And moving on to Stadium Championship Series West, man, this is a fun lineup here too. We got Tyler Meninga in Gravedigger, Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger, Kayla Blood in Sparkle Smash, Bari Musauer in Zombie, Bryce Kenny in Rec Deck. Bailey Circuit is going to be on a full stadium tour, but we don't know who the driver is quite yet. That is a TBD. Jamie Garner in El Toro Loco. Megalodon Deidre Garner is making her full stadium series debut. We got Cole Vennard in Black Pearl. Zach Garner, of course, in Wildside. And then we got Mike Christensen in Vendetta, and we get to see Dalton Widener bringing out Shell Shocked full-time in Monster Jam.
Great lineup. Wanted to just quickly mention the Kohlers as well. I felt like Jim Kohler last year had a really good kind of bounce back year, a little more aggression, a few more spectacular moments, and then Chris Kohler started off the year very strong, and then I would say kind of faded, but he was still aggressive, just a few bad bounces here and there. But he started off last year winning in his debut freestyle in Mayhem too. So I don't want to leave those guys out. But yeah, when it comes to the Stadium West, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Tyler and Ryan battle it out every weekend. Those are two guys that when it comes to just talent, skill, all that stuff, the whole package behind the wheel, it is never a bad time watching those folks drive. If the trucks hold up for them, then they do a wonderful job. So, they're going to have folks like Bari and Bryce pushing them, Zach, all four of the Garner trucks in one place is going to be pretty crazy. Dalton's Shell Shocked is wonderful. I think that might be the best independent 3D body design I've ever seen. I think it looks tremendous. So, looks aside, though, I mean, it is hard to argue against Tyler, even with a a truck last year that, kind of like you said with Adam, he was getting used to working some bugs out of and things like that. He still managed to take down the points championship last year over a hard charging Bari Musauer. Guys like Bari and Tristan are great behind the wheel, and the big thing about them is that they're consistent. But I think that at the end of the day, you need consistent with a touch of wild. Tyler is that in a nutshell. I would be surprised if it wasn't Tyler out of this series, but he is going to have a very stacked tour of folks to go up against here. And I would not be surprised if Ryan was a little extra motivated after not winning a championship against Tristan last year.
Yeah, and I think too, I mean, like you said, it's so stacked. I mean, you look at people like Tyler and Ryan, obviously, but I mean, Bari was nipping at the heels there quite a bit last year, I believe, in that points chase. I mean, Bryce Kenny, I mean, he's got the big Rec Deck sponsorship behind him now, and he's going to be going for kill. And you know, we're going to see a lot of big air out of him, and definitely at least some freestyle wins. I mean, Zach Garner's a former world champion. Dalton and Mike are both incredible racers. I mean, you got Cole, who is just pretty good across the board. I mean, there's a lot of good competition here, and I mean, not a single driver on this tour is going to be a slouch. And I'm not intentionally excluding anybody when I list those names. I think Deidre, we could also see pick up a couple wins once she gets the hang of running on these types of tracks full time. I mean, it's just stacked, and these are going to be really entertaining shows, especially like you said, though, when you look at Tyler and Ryan, I mean, those two are going to be the most competitive with each other week in and week out. And I think if Tyler's truck stays with him, if he doesn't experience a lot of mechanical woes or electrical woes, or, you know, he had some reliability issues last year, if he doesn't run into that again this year, he's going to be my pick to take this home, I think.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of folks overlook when they're just being armchair athletes, if you will, is the crew. You know, Bari has been with his crew guy for several years now, and has even mentioned it in interviews. And to be able to have that confidence, just like with Bryce and his crew guy too, there's some combinations that have worked and stuck together for a few years now. So there's a little bit of consistency there without the turnover. And a good crew guy is going to give a driver super big confidence. Having that confidence behind the wheel and not having it shaken is a big deal mentally for these drivers. I can definitely tell you that. And it's interesting that the consistent crew, the consistent maintenance, in some ways is almost as important as behind the wheel. You know, you saw that last year with the Zimmers is an easy example to point to from something I had a lot of experience sitting there with. Their maintenance, their crew, and you had some direct experience there last year, they're on top of things. And they make sure that they are always on top of things. And it can be exhausting doing that. But they find it well worth it for their trucks to perform when the lights are on. And I think that's a big underrated thing here, is who has what crew. And that is not to bag on anybody who had truck problems, because I know, as an example, Tyler out there, man, they were thrashing on that thing every weekend, and it's just very tough sometimes to not be able to track something down, or just to have freak things go wrong too. So both sides of the coin there, just a little extra to think about when it comes to synergy, we'll call it, within teams battling for a championship.
And your overall pick, I don't remember if you mentioned this. So for Championship
Tyler.
Series West, Tyler. Okay, we're both so
Tyler,
far
I'm
we
picking
both.
Tyler. If there's a group of 100 monster truck drivers in the current era, I am picking Tyler number one every time. Tyler to the floor. Simple. He's the best driver in Monster Jam right now.
And this is not a knock against anybody. I've been of the opinion for a hot minute here that I think Tyler is just naturally the most talented driver that there is out there, at least for what I like to watch in a freestyle or in two-wheel, whatever the case may be. Tyler's probably my favorite driver for sure. So
100%. Tyler is one of those people too. I'll just say this. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier with the Patrick stuff. He will like a post or share a post about the Penda Days just as quickly as his own stuff about Monster Jam, and he really does care about all sides of monster trucks, no pun intended there. Really, really a guy that respects those that came before him and is also willing to push the sport to new levels. So that's my ideal kind of pick for a person in that position. He gives me those warm and fuzzy gravedigger feelings of forgotten eras, if you will, as well as the happy feeling of seeing a guy that just has adapted to anything he's been thrown into at any time and done a wonderful job. So, hey, if you're not watching Tyler Menninga, I don't know why you wouldn't be. You need to.
So far, we've both got Tristan and we've both got Tyler. So let's see how that shakes up as we progress here. Now we're moving on to the Arena Championship Tour. So let's start with Series Central. We got Weston Anderson and Gravedigger, Fernando Martinez in El Toro. We've got Bailey Circuit with Brianna Mahan, Tony Oaks and Thunder Roris, Michaela Toluchka in the Megalodon, Brandon Toluchka stepping into a company body here, driving Zombie, and then a couple new additions to Monster Jam here. We got Charles Pawkins in Classroom Crusher and Kylie Kent in Sparkle Smash. Shout out to Send It Motorsports, of course. Make sure you check out their socials. What do you think of this lineup overall and the additions here of the son of one of the most legendary drivers of all time and Kylie joining the ranks?
I thought you were saying that confused me for a second. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be seeing a lot of this tour because it's the Central Tour. A few things I will say about this. Love the lineup overall. Quite stacked overall. Not a fan of Freestyle Mania. Never will be. I don't have anything against Freestyle Motocross. I also don't think their points should be combined with Monster Trucks at any point in time. I don't like that format. I don't like anything about it. I'm not sorry about it either. Whine all you want in the comments. I don't care. This is the closest thing I'll ever get to rage bait on this platform, but it's just not for me, and I don't think it should be presented as equal to these other folks that are on points tours that don't have freestyle motocross in them. That's where I have an issue there, is you can either be propped up or let down by somebody doing freestyle motocross stuff, getting points. It's just not comparable at all. But on the Monster Truck side of things, boy, did they stack this one up. I firmly believe that Brianna Mahone is one of the top drivers, period, when it comes to this stuff. Great fit for Bailey Circuit. Really looking forward to seeing what she can do there. I'd love to see it in Whiplash instead, but I understand that, company's going to want a company to represent company sponsors or within stuff. So, fine. Weston's going to take this tour respectfully to everybody else. He has not shown any signs of letting up, and it's pretty easy to pick the guy that's undefeated in points championships all time. The guy's never lost. I don't expect him to do it anytime soon. I do think that he will be pushed by the Briannas, the Fernandos, the Tony Oakses, and, of course, Brandon Toluchka, highly underrated, and I think Chucky, a.k.a. Charles, a.k.a. the Chuck Bus, is going to do a wonderful job in Classroom Crusher. And for those asking, yes, to my knowledge as of now, that will be on the Haymaker chassis, and he is ready to go. I think that he's going to do a tremendous job behind the wheel. He's already been winning a few competitions. He's already been working on that balance. He's getting the setup. I see him doing great things and surprising people. I don't necessarily think he's going to win the whole thing, but there are a lot of people that are going to push Weston this year. I don't think he's going to run away with it, but I think that he's going to win it. What about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, talking about Chucky, it was really cool to get him, or to be able to see him drive a few times this past summer on Monster Truck Throwdown shows. The couple that jump out to my mind were Ionia driving Uproar and St. Ignace in Uproar, or affectionately Truck Roar, if you will.
Yes.
I mean, he's got the same natural talent that his dad has, and I mean, with the seat time, and so once he gets familiar with this type of track and this type of format, I mean, I think he's really going to be one of the top independent drivers out there. Just he'll get the seat time and he'll get the hang of it, and it's going to be really fun to see, what his ceiling is. And I really don't think there is any ceiling on his future ability. But all in all, as far as a winner goes, I mean, it's hard not to go with Weston, right? And that's just not because of his history, but he's just that damn good. And like you said, no disrespect to anybody. I mean, you got people like Tony, Fernando, Brandon. I mean, they're all going to be competitive. Every driver on this tour is capable of picking up wins at any given moment. But it's really hard to bet against Weston, looking statistically and just having seen him drive the past 3 or 4 years on arena tours.
I will say one thing, little soapbox type of thing. In a past podcast, we talked about how we would love to see Weston run that red primer Gravedigger and get to stadiums. It is, in my humble opinion, a bit of a waste to not put him into a stadium and put him in a red primer Gravedigger. And if they have to call it Zizzle Rocks Gravedigger or some weird name to separate it, fine. I don't care. But get Weston in stadiums. This is ridiculous. So the other thing is, we talked about crew. Wes has got some of the best crew in the business, wrenching away on that thing, and he may need to get a few extra crew guys because he does run just a touch hard. I think that he's going to do a great job. I mean, bottom line, I see these folks pushing. I'm interested to see with the expanded field of the World Finals. I definitely could see where this is a tour that gets multiple bids from the World Finals from this tour, because it's going to be that competitive. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You'll definitely see some coverage on AllMonster and on Send It Motorsports from this arena tour. And hey, lots of fun to be had here. There is really, it's pretty wide open after Weston, I would say.
Yeah, and one more point on Weston too. I mean, we all know it. Everybody that's a Monster Truck fan. I mean, there's obviously, not all the time, but often a digger bias, we can call it, right? Because it's the most popular truck. It's a lot of people's favorite, and a lot of times people in attendance will just give it a 10, even if it doesn't necessarily deserve a win. But Weston is definitely an exception to this 98% of the time. Every win that he gets, he more than earns. So,
and I that's a great point. I have seen him actually with Brandon. Brandon put on, I don't remember the show. Maybe somebody in the comments can point it out. But there was a show where Brandon did the thing that he has become known for, which is balance the truck on the nose, stop it, and then shut the truck off. And did some other crazy moves in two-wheel. He's doing slap moonwalks and just all sorts of stuff. Right up there with Weston. He had a great run, and then Weston had a good one, but not as good as Brandon. They brought Weston out there, and Weston immediately was like, that wasn't me, that was Brandon, he deserves the win. Anytime that happens, I love to see that. Nobody wants to be handed anything on that Gravedigger team, and the folks that really call that out, even when it's not to their benefit, hey, even more respect. Loved to see that, and hey, Weston's going to be up there. If he gets a chance to run stadiums and he starts showing his stuff, I'll put him right up there with Tyler.
And one thing I like too with the Central Tours is it's nice that it feels like we have a pretty good shakeup in the lineup. It's not just largely the same drivers. I mean, with the addition of Chucky and Kylie, that's great. And shout out to Nick Bolger as well here, the crew chief of Sparkle Smash. Even if he goes to a different team, he's still the Sparkle Smash guy. I love that. That's for him.
That's right.
Moving on to Arena Championship Series East, we got Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger, MJ Solorio in El Toro Loco. Logan Ashline is going to be full-time here, Sparkle Smash. Cody Saucier is back in Dragon. John Zimmer Sr. trading the arms for the Finns. He's going to be in Megalodon this year. And, of course, we got reigning champion John Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity, and we have the Tritons returning. The Robins returning. Triton in Crazy Train, and Montana in Plain Crazy. All in all, very solid lineup. These are also going to be great shows. I do wish we could see the Robins on a different tour from the Zimmers, just because I feel like there was so much back and forth in racing between Zimmer and Triton, and that's a lot of fun. But, I mean, it would be great to see more of a mix-up, I guess, in this lineup, and to see it balanced a little bit better. But I think it's hard to say. I mean, Cody's going to be competitive. Senior's going to be competitive. We know Triton and John are going to pick up. Montana's gotten a lot of seat time, and I'm sure he's looking to step up. MJ is an incredible driver, and he takes a lot of risks in his freestyles and his two-wheel moves, and a lot of that pays off for him, so it's still going to be a fun tour. I just wish that, I guess, the lineup was balanced a little bit differently, I suppose.
Yeah, I definitely understand your point. I think the counter to that nobody likes hearing or talking about is logistics, especially from an independent monster truck side.
Absolutely.
So with the tours being as long as they are now compared to what they used to be, and the routing being what it is, like it or not, there's still money involved in all this. And when you're an independent team, it doesn't necessarily make sense to, I don't know, if your home's in New York like the Robinses, it doesn't necessarily make sense to go do a full West Coast tour, because you're going to be A, away from your shop for a long period of time, and B, that is a lot of miles on haulers, people, and everything else, especially if you have breakage show to show. There's a lot of things to consider there underneath and kind of behind the scenes. But I'm with you. I would like to see things mixed up a little more there. The cool thing was, definitely call out here, again, being close to the Send It team, You know my pick. I don't even have to say it. Back to back. It's that simple. But I really am calling out here Triton, like you did. The second half of his season last year, when they were on tour with the Zimmers, he had the best racing record. He was doing very, very well towards the end of the season there, especially that racing format. So he's going to push John Zimmer Jr., Cody, all those folks. And yeah, your call out of MJ, I'm definitely with you there. I have eyes on him. He's well spoken. He's very good behind the wheel. He's aggressive, and he got thrown into a backup kind of two-wheel skills situation at the World Finals and came out of that looking real good. Every time I hear him talk, I'm very impressed by his knowledge, his attitude, and of course, for those that don't know, he started out driving independently as well. So he has that respect for the equipment, but also wants to step it up and really represent the El Toro Loco name. So I see him having, maybe surprising some folks that aren't familiar there, and I see him doing a very good job. Cody and Senior, you know what you're going to get with them. Fast-paced racing, very competitive in all disciplines, and if anybody else slips up, they're right there. Hey, don't forget, Cody was top 3 on his tour and really pushed Devin there last year with Velociraptor. So he could have ended up finishing the runner-up spot to Weston last year on that tour. Just a reminder, the old folks still got it too.
100%. And I mean, looking at this, I'm trying to break it down in my head. I think if I'm looking at who I think my top 2 are going to be, I think it's going to be MJ and it's going to be John. You talk about Triton, and he's going to get a ton of racing wins, no doubt about that. He's probably going to be the fastest racer on this tour, but you're not going to see as many freestyle wins for him. It's his runs tend to be a little bit more reserved than somebody like Johnny's or what MJ's might be or that sort of thing. So I think Triton's definitely going to be in the points mix, but I think if he doesn't get first, it's probably because of freestyle, for example. So I think he doesn't have as much consistency across the board, or at least he didn't last year. So that's why I got to go MJ and John for the top 2. But I mean, it's hard not to pick Zimmer Jr. again for another overall championship on this tour.
Hey, I am under no obligations to, but I truly believe that's a done deal, man. Their equipment, their maintenance, their abilities, their knowledge, all that stuff. He's got Dad right there helping him out, but he doesn't need the help. He is in his own zone when it comes to being competitive and wanting that championship. I see both of them working real hard behind the scenes and just busting their tails to get what they want, which is another championship. And hey, they made history last year. Why not extend that and go back to back, right? I don't know who my second. I would probably battle in my head between Cody and MJ for the second spot there. So, not much difference there. I think these next ones, though, I think we're going to have a few maybe differences of opinion.
Yeah, and I think this one could be, man, this might be it could be very well the most competitive arena series, or even of any of the series. Arena Championship Series West, we got Matt, Cody, and Gravedigger, Armando Castro, and El Toro. As you mentioned before, coming from the stadiums to the arenas, Ashley Sanford's back in Megalodon, Blake Granger in a TBD truck, Alex Barden in Earthshaker getting another shot at it this year. We got Carson Williams in Monster Mutt. Our buddy Tim Hall Jr. is going to be the lone Jurassic Attack driver this first quarter, and then Velociraptor is also going to be in the mix, so 4 throttle trucks, but Velociraptor has a TBD driver. So obviously that could change a little bit where our predictions go before knowing who that might be, but what's your breakdown on this lineup here for Championship Series West?
I got eyes on Blake. I got eyes on Alex Barden. Got eyes on Armando Castro and Tim Hall. Those in some form would be my top 4. I think that with the 4 throttle monster trucks running, I would venture to say that Alex and Tim have the most kind of pull there. It's no offense to the other 2, but just Carson's still a little newer. And Alex, really, I have eyes on him because he's coming back from an unfortunate injury at the start of last year that kind of derailed his season. He was out for most of the year with that broken collarbone when he had a backflip early in the year. I was talking to Scott Jordan on the Monster Jam podcast about that, and he's spoken about how, he's motivated to come back this year and kind of show everybody what's up. So when he came back out and healed up at a Monster Truck Throwdown, sending Rockwell Red all over the place, and he seems to be in good health and good spirits now. I think he's got a good chance at contending there. And then Tim Hall Jr., from seeing him in Cincinnati last year, I know the motivation there. I saw the ability there. And now he gets his own, like you said, he's the sole driver of Jurassic Attack. So I like seeing that. This is Blake's tour to lose. He's got a bunch of momentum. Don't know what the TBD is for. I joke about TBD being my favorite truck, but hey, you just never know. I mean, the truck and the identity does matter, especially when it comes to freestyle and scoring. As much as some folks may not like to talk about that, it does matter. We just talked about Joe Foley earlier. Axe versus El Toro Loco. Well, the El Toro Loco name's been built up more, and it's going to get better scores even if Joe does the same freestyle. People don't like hearing that, but it's the truth. He'll get more freestyle wins based on that. So, hey, we don't know what Blake's in. We just know it's not going to be one of these other identities that's already represented here. So he's driven El Toro. He can't drive that one here. He's driven Megalodon. Can't drive that here. So what's he going to be in? Well, usually that's an indicator of like a sponsor deal or something like that that's still, as they said, TBD. Contracts and things like that have to be sewn up, or they could just be organizing drivers' trucks and so that sort of thing and wait until the last minute. But, I'd love to see a truck like a Max D or something like that come back. I think more so it'll end up being some sort of sponsor.
Yeah, when I'm looking at this lineup here, I mean, when you look at the last, year and a half or more, I guess, that Blake has had and all the accomplishments that he's been able to achieve, it's really hard not to say Blake. I mean, Armando's definitely going to be super competitive as well, but he might not be as used to the arena formats as what he was the stadiums, of course, the last couple of years. So, Blake's obviously got the arenas on lock, and he gets quite a bit of seat time too, because he's not only doing first quarter stuff in the U.S., but he's also doing usually a lot of international stuff as well. So he's well practiced, and he had a lot of success. Like I said, when you look at the recent history, he's got a world championship now, but it's going to be fun to watch him go at it with Matt Cody, Armando, and then, like you said, too, you got some other guys on here that are also going to be great, like Alex, for example. He's going to be in a different chassis this year as well from what he would have been running in first quarter. He was used to that metal shop chassis. Looks like Throttle Monster is now selling it, so he'll be in something a little bit newer and something definitely different from the metal shop chassis that they're getting rid of now. Tim Hall picked up a lot of wins last year. I saw him pick up his first championship or overall championship in Fargo, and so that was really cool to be present for. But sky's the limit. Is going to be this Carson's limit is going to be endless. Sky's going to be the limit for him once he gets more used to everything as well. And it's all about seat time for anybody, right? It's fun to see the potential. It's fun to see the growth once you can see him get behind the wheel and get used to things. And he's had a good bit of Monster Jam experience, and I think he's had a couple wins as well, just outside of a full tour first quarter. So, you got Ashley in there too. Ashley improves every year, so it's going to be fun to see what she can pull off as well.
Yeah, I wanted to, when you were talking about the seat time, that is almost the king for anything when it comes to improvement as a driver. That's why they have Monster Jam University. And I think your point about Blake having the most seat time is a great point. I asked Lindsey Wink one time when he was running with the Iron Outlaw, and they were doing heavy schedules even then with the Bounty Hunter and Iron Outlaw team. And I said, well, how do you think, what made you progress? And he said, man, it was simple, really, just seat time. I'm almost never not in this truck one weekend. And so you can make a big jump year to year. It used to be back in the day that you'd do that on the Europe tour. And, they put Adam Anderson on the Europe tour, or a young Adam Anderson at that point. He comes back and he's, had a little more seat time, a little more practice pre-MJU, and had parlayed that into a great stadium season. That's what I see with Blake. He's so busy running both tours. They even stuck actually Matt Cody over there for a little while too, and I think that's good. Personal opinion, I don't think Matt Cody is a Gravedigger driver. I think he would be great in something like JCB Digatron or even his old ride Blue Thunder. I just think that there's some times where that's not as good of a fit, and they're good drivers, nothing wrong with that. But Gravedigger takes a certain kind of set of circumstances, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this shakes out. I got Blake winning this. But I do think he's going to be pushed a lot by, Armando, Alex, Tim.
Yep, fully in agreement there. Man, I hate to. I'd like to make it more interesting and have different picks from you, but but you know what? Maybe that goes to show too. Maybe the lineups could be balanced better, right? Like if you and I, or maybe there's other people that would have the same picks as well. If there's so many people that could fairly easily pick out who they think is going to win, such as we've been able to do here, maybe there's a little bit more that we can do to make these lineups a little bit more interesting, right? And I think overall too, I think that also says something about how the points are structured. So that's not to say that the lineups are bad or anything. I don't think any of them are bad or less than good. I just think the way that they do the point series makes it difficult for anybody to have a shot unless you're getting a ton of wins. I mean, there's not as much reward for consistency or second or third place or whatever the case may be. And it would be nice if they took the point series and restructured it in a way so that, I guess right? I'm trying to internalize a way to, here's how I think it could be done. And I guess I don't know what that is offhand. That's something I'd have to think about. It would just be nice if the point series.
Making a good point. It really, like you got a good point there that parity is great. That's fine too, but at the end of the day, you want to reward the folks that did the best, not the folks that played it the safest, and that's something that's a consideration to have.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? Maybe at some point in time we'll see some sort of restructuring the point series, and that'll give other folks who maybe are second or third place a bit more than first. But I mean, if I'd like to see more consistency, I guess, rewarded for those folks, I guess is my main point. But I mean, it's a lot better now than, what it used to be back when they first started doing the point series in like 2015, I think it was, where it was really, I think, only the winner getting any points. And so that was pretty terrible. So they've definitely made improvements, and it is great to see overall that there is, points championship series that are happening.
Yeah, I'm into that. I just think that, they need to keep pushing, keep progressing, keep listening to the feedback from the drivers, the crew, everybody like that, and really continue to make it, I don't want to say legit because don't care what anybody says. It's never been illegitimate. It's just that they need, modifications to some things that happen. You saw that last year with things like the fan judging. They made a tough decision mid-season, sort of, to kind of adjust that with the expert judges. I think that's going to have a nice effect this year because it's going to be there all year. I don't necessarily love seeing things change mid-year. So that alone being in place enabled a lot of independents and a lot of other drivers to sort of be a little more aggressive and know that the fan judging isn't going to ruin their night.
Yes, sir. Everybody's favorite topic is fan judging, and we've definitely discussed that on past episodes as well. So obviously we know that it's not ideal from a competition standpoint because, what other legitimate sport has fan voting or fan judging? But we don't need to get into all of that right now. I mean, everybody's pretty much on board with us as far as that goes. It is nice that they have more recently introduced the expert judge to try to kind of balance things out a little bit better, and I think there has been some success with that as well. So it's at least, if anything, a good step in the right direction.
Yep. Everybody wants change night and day real quickly, boom, snap, winning, whatever. But sometimes these things take time to implement properly. Sometimes there's more going on than meets the eye. And hey, I always preface any comments that I ever have about trucks, drivers, teams, series, and things like that with, hey, my monster truck drove like crap today because I don't have one. And people on the outside kind of don't know what and how hard it is to do all of this stuff. Lots of respect to anybody that takes the time to step behind the wheel or the wrenches or behind the scenes and do a great job with that too. So one more thing about West as I'm staring at Armando Castro here. I forgot to mention, I saw him a few times on the stadiums last year, and he did carry that arena attitude for sure when it came to the skills competition. He had something like 8, 9, 10 skills wins in the year. I'd have to check the stats. Somebody could fact check me there, but he definitely has that skills piece on lock. So looking forward to seeing him and Blake battle out things in that regard, because that's definitely a strength for both of them too.
Anything else that you wanted to cover today?
I would love to cover the fact that you should go to youtube.com/TravisRC. There's a lot of folks that like the RC stuff, and this is not an ad as much as it is a show of appreciation. Travis has an RC channel, and a lot of folks like monster trucks and RC stuff. If you like both of those, you're going to like Travis's channel, so go check it out. It's going to be linked in the description whether he likes it or not, and this is a get back for the last time when he was trying to promote other stuff that I do. So don't do that. Ha-ha!
I mean, actually, that channel sucks, and you definitely shouldn't go check it out, in all sincerity. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the AllMonster Monster Truck Podcast. Of course, my name is Travis. That guy over there is Robby. Don't forget to check out our partner sites. That's Send It Motorsports, Haymaker, Frostbite, Patrick Enterprises, Samson Monster Truck. Go check out all the social media pages. And like I said earlier, AllMonster is open for business. If you are a monster truck team or even not a monster truck team and you just want to help social media, make sure to send us a message on Instagram and we'll get you situated on that as well. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us on your favorite audio platforms, being Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Definitely find us there. And make sure especially that you subscribe to that YouTube channel. It's been growing and it's been flourishing, and we want to thank you guys sincerely for all the support and love that you show AllMonster, and all the love that you've showed AllMonster for 20 years or more at this point. Very cool to see. So along with that, again, thank you again for listening to the AllMonster Monster Truck Podcast, and we will see you next time.